Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Subodhan Singh, student of MSc Physics 4th SEM. Today, the seminar of the subject Physics of Nanomaterials. My seminar topic is carbon nanotube and its synthesis. Let's start with the introduction of carbon nanotubes. Introduction. As its name suggests, nanotubes mean it is related to the nanotechnology. Carbon nanotubes are the nanostructure which divide from the rolled graphene plates. Carbon nanotubes have many properties as it has high strength, electrical property, mechanical property. That's why it is very useful for us. Discovery of the carbon nanotubes. First, the discovery of the carbon nanotubes by Russian scientists. But the Japanese researcher Sumio in 1991 discovered the nanotubes, and he also discovered its structure by the electron microscopy. So the credit goes to Sumio to discover the carbon nanotubes. Structure of carbon nanotubes. We have a graphene sheet. It has 2D. Then we roll up the graphene sheet or we get carbon nanotube. So carbon nanotubes are the cylindrical graphene sheet of the sp2 bonded carbon atoms. Graphene sheet rolled upon the itself to form the C and T. Because of sp2 bonds, it have so strong. Next, type of carbon nanotubes. There are mainly three types of the carbon nanotubes. Single walled carbon nanotubes, double walled carbon nanotubes, and the multi walled carbon nanotubes. So let's start with the single walled carbon nanotubes. Single wall carbon nanotube. Single wall carbon nanotubes are made from single graphene sheet, which is rolled up and made the single wall carbon nanotubes. It have single sheets and we roll it and we get the single wall carbon nanotube. In the double wall carbon nanotubes, it have two graphene sheet which are rolled out. In the multi-wall carbon nanotubes, we have many sheet of graphite which are rolled up and create the multi-wall carbon nanotubes. It have diameter to 2 to 50 nanometer and more than 50 nanometers. Depend on length of the carbon nanotube in both single wall carbon nanotube, multi-wall carbon nanotube, double wall carbon nanotube is depend on the procedure by which we can make the carbon nanotubes. Let's start with the synthesis of the carbon nanotube. We can prepare the carbon nanotube with the various methods. The three main methods are arc discharge method, laser ablation methods, chemical vapor deposition method. Let's start with the first method, arc discharge method. In the arc discharge method, this is developed by the Aviation. He is also Japanese scientist in 91. He successfully made the synthesis of the carbon nanotube in small quantities. In the arc method, we have two cathode and anode made by graphite, and we apply high voltage, high current, approx 100 ampere. By this, the arc between these anode and cathode generate, which is produce the plasma state between the cathode and anode. We use the catalyzed between the cathode and anode, we doped, by which we get the carbon nanotubes. In the arc discharge method, we generate multi-wall carbon nanotube normally, but it can't generate single-wall carbon nanotube without the catalyst. This is the chamber of the arc discharge method. Here, the cathode and anode are placed here. Both are made from graphite and they are separated from very small distance. Whenever we apply the high current 100 ampere approx, then the arc generates between the cathode and anode, which vaporize the graphite, mean carbon atoms vaporize, and it are vaporized to cathode and made the carbon nanotube. Here, as we see in this figure, inert gas are used, or here the vacuum chamber, approx 50-100 torr pressure we can use in this chamber. We use inert gas because if you use normal gas, then oxygen react with the carbon and it create the carbon dioxide. Then we can't achieve the condition and we can't have carbon nanotubes. It is a high temperature process, more than 3000 degrees Celsius, by which we get the high quality carbon nanotubes. The second method is laser ablation method. It is developed in 1995. It is the same on the based of principle arc discharge method. Here we also use high temperature, but to generate high temperature, we use the laser beams for targeting graphite sheet and generate the carbon atom. Here the chamber. Here we show in this figure, the laser beams is targeted to graphite target. And here we gas in. We inert gas, they are all inert gas because if we use another gas, they are react with the graphite. Here the cool condenser and here the furnace, which create high temperature and laser beam target to the graphite and carbon atoms from the graphite is emitted or they are condensed to the cool collector and make the single wall carbon nanotube. The problem with this laser ablation method, it is too much expensive and it create only single wall carbon nanotube. It is not used to generate the double wall carbon nanotubes. The third method to generate the carbon nanotubes is chemical vapor deposition method. This method is developed by the Endo, Japanese scientist in 1993. CVD has the highest potential to mass production of the carbon nanotube. Means this is the most method we use commercially to generate the carbon nanotubes in bulk amount or defect free. Or the main function is it low temperature, approx 600 degrees Celsius. Here the diagram of the carbon vapor deposition method. Here we inert the inert gas, which is carbon as its line. In this process, the substrate in oven heated in 600 degrees Celsius and a mixture of hydrocarbon gases. We use hydrocarbon gases in this reaction chamber, like acetylene, methane, ethylene, to introduce the chemical reaction in chamber. Here, the C2H2 is inert and N2 inert form. Here the sample, here the oven, we approach temperature 600 to 700 degrees Celsius, and whenever it react with heat to get, whenever the sample get heats, it vaporized and carbon nanotubes are vaporized and generate in the quarter tube walls. We get carbon nanotube at the quarter tube walls. Like the properties of the carbon nanotubes. Strength, the carbon nanotubes have strongest flexible materials. Also, the hardness of the bulk modulus of carbon nanotubes are greater than the diamond, means they are the most strongest material. Electric property, because of the symmetry, uniqueness of electric structure, the graphene of nanotubes has very high carrying current capacity. Now, my topic is complete here. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask.
है इससे हम किस साइज की कार्बन नैनो ट्यूब बना सकते हैं?
सर इससे हम we can generate the both single wall carbon nanotube, multi wall carbon nanotube.
Of which diameter?
So diameter approx 15 single 0.43 nanometer to 40 nanometer and multi wall में 15 nanometer to 50 or greater than.
Sharma, I'm just starting my webinar topic, which is named as quantum confinement. So I'm just sliding to my topic. I'm just giving the overview of the quantum confinement. Now, just talking about some history of the quantum confinement. It is in 1970, Isaku and Tisu proposed fabrication of the artificial structure, which would consist of alternating layer of two different semiconductor with layer thickness 1 nanometer, which is in meter 10⁻⁹ -9, which is also known as superlattice. If we are talking about the physics of the quantum confinement, the main idea was that introduction of an artificial periodicity will fold the Brillouin zones. Here I'm just giving the gist of Brillouin zones. A Brillouin zone is defined as a beginner size primitive cell. It is just a primitive cell which just holds the one lattice. So here it is just to the here is the main idea to minimizing the brilliant zones. The idea was that to raise the conduction band minima which was needed for some device applications. Now I'm just talking about the quantum confinement. Here what we are just doing here, we are just doing that, we are just reduce the size and the length of the semiconductor semiconductor, which will reduce the motion of an which will reduce the motion of an electron, which is in the semiconductor, and affect the electronic as well as the optical properties of such small particles considerably differ from the property of the bulk material. Quantum confinement has been introduced via two approaches, top-down approach and the bottom-down approach. The quantum confinement is more prominent in semiconductor because they have an energy gap in their electronic band structure. We know about the energy band gap, so I'm just now not talking about the energy gap. Metal do not have a band gap, as we know. So quantum size effect has here less prevalent. Quantum confinement is only observed at dimensions below 2 nanometer. Quantum confinement effect is observed when the size of the particle is too small to be comparable to the de Broglie wavelength of the electron. Now I'm just here. There are three types of important generic types of nanostructure. First one is quantum well. Another one is quantum wire, which is also known as nanowire. And third one is quantum dot or nanocrystal, which is also called as colloidal quantum dot. If we are these nanostructure is also referred as low-dimensional system, which is specially called as two-dimensional, one-dimensional, and zero-dimensional. Now I'm just talking about the quantum well. Quantum well, it is a structure which is also a semiconductor in which is manufactured by by layering two, by sandwiching two material. But quantum well is a slab, a thin slab which of a semiconductor sandwiched by an insulator on either side when its physical thickness comparable narrow, such that L depicted here and Z depicted along Z direction of a Cartesian coordinate system, which is shorter than the characteristic length of the electron and hole, which is also called which is in the material carrier confinement occurs. At the same time, since the dimension of the material along X and Y direction, which is shown in this figure, much larger than the critical length, the carrier experience two additional confinement effect. They therefore possess 2 degrees of freedom. In the quantum confinement, we have 2 degrees of quantum confinement and 1 degree of freedom. Now we are just giving. I'm just here talking about some application. The quantum well are used in DVDs, layer pointers, infrared layers, lasers, optical transistors, blue lasers. They are also used in HMTs, which is high electron mobility transistor. Now I'm just talking about quantum wire. Quantum wire or a nanowire is a semiconductor agglomerated along a single direction with two associated orthogonal dimensions that are much narrower. Carrier in quantum wire possesses 1 degree of freedom and 2 degree of quantum confinement. Quantum wire can be used in electron waveguide and it is also used in switchable high-speed lasers. Now, in the next slide, we are just talking about the quantum dot structure. It is a dimensional less structure. It is also called as an artificial atom. In quantum, the quantum dot structure is a narrow along all three directions of a Cartesian coordinate system. Quantum dot is a small semiconductor particle having its radius smaller than the characteristic de Broglie wavelength. Now, I'm just giving some application of the quantum dot. It is used in single electron transistors, solar cell, LEDs, lasers, single photon sources, second harmonic generation, quantum computing, and medical imaging. Now I'm just stop here, and if anybody have any question, any query about yes sir.
बेसिकली इनके एप्लीकेशंस क्या क्या हैं, डिटेल में बता सकते हो?
Sir, when I'm just talking about in detail, I'm not talking about in detail. I'm just giving some application in my slides. I'm just the quantum well are used in high electron mobility transistor, DVDs, and laser pointers. And quantum wire is used in electron waveguides, and quantum dot are used in single electron and high single electron transistor. और सर ये ज्यादातर सर ये जो क्वांटम डॉट डिस्ट्रक्शन है ये किसी भी ट्रांजिस्टर या किसी भी मशीन की एफिशिएंसी को बढ़ाने के लिए यूज किए जाते हैं।
और जो बल्क मटेरियल होते हैं, बेसिकली इनमें इनकी प्रॉपर्टीज में क्या डिफरेंस होता है? कुछ डिफरेंस होता है या नहीं?
सर अगर हम बैंड स्ट्रक्चर्स के से देखें तो अगर बल्क मटेरियल का देखें तो उनकी कंटिन्यूअस बैंड स्ट्रक्चर होता है, स्टेट्स होती हैं। अगर हम क्वांटम डॉट्स में जाते हैं,
localized particle and donor acceptor and deep trap. Localized particle. Introduction. A localized state of a particles or a field mean that the same things of the content. It means the most energy density or most probability may be found within a region whose linear size is smaller than the total size of the material. Here I am represent the localized particle in a plasma structure. This diagram shows that the localized particle in the nano material. Nanotechnology. In nanotechnology, localized surface plasma resonance in a nanostructure to enhance non-linear vibrational spectroscopy towards an astronomical molecular sensitivity. Next topic is my donor acceptor level. Dopant are classified in donor or acceptors and electron to the conduction band, where the acceptor and the electron form the valence band. There are two levels. First, donor level. Second is acceptor level. In p-type semiconductor, acceptor level is near than valence band, and n-type semiconductor donor level is near than conduction band. Donor level. The atom easily donate or pass on an electron to conduction band, so it is called a donor atom, and this is known as a donor electron. This is because donor energy level lie forbidden region, very close to the conduction band. Acceptor level are very small. Thermal energy is required to excited electron from valence band into impurity level, accept electron from the valence and called the acceptor. In this figure, donor acceptor level in a semiconductor. The acceptor level increase the energy of to the p-type. In this figure, I was studying increase the energy of upper, and n-type semiconductor, the donor electron are near than the conduction band electron, so its energy is lesser than the p-type semiconductor. Next is deep trap. If the states are close to the middle band gap, that we call deep trap. In other words, a deep trap generally unconsiderable type of the electronic defect in semiconductor. Deep trap generally act as recombination generation center, are not classified as donor or acceptor level. This reason is generation recombination center have capture emit both electron and holes. There are the several depends factors upon the deep trap. First is the process of capture emissions. Second is the ionization energy of the trap. Third is the trap is neutral, positive, negatively charged. Fourth is the trap in a bulk material. Thank you, sir.
कहाँ से होगी? About scanning electron microscope. First we discuss electron microscope. What is electron microscope? Electron microscope is a technique for obtaining high resolution images of biological and non-biological specimens. These are two types: scanning electron microscope, transmission electron microscope. Scanning electron microscope. Introduction. A scanning electron microscope is a type of electron microscope that produces images of a sample by scanning the surface with a focused beam of electrons. The electrons interact with atoms in the sample, producing various signals that contain information about the surface, topography, and composition of the sample. This is the diagram of scanning electron microscope. Working. In scanning electron microscopy, the electron beam scans the sample in a raster pattern. First, electrons are generated at the top of the column by the electron force. These are emitted when their thermal energy overcomes the work function of the source material. They are then accelerated and attracted by the positively charged anode. The entire electron column needs to be under vacuum. Like all components of an electron microscope, the electron source is sealed inside a special chamber to preserve vacuum and protect it against contamination, vibrations, and noise. Besides protecting the electron source from being contaminated, vacuum also allows the user to acquire a high-resolution image. In the absence of vacuum, other atoms and molecules can be present in the column. Their interaction with electrons causes the electron beam to deflect and reduces the image quality. High vacuum also increases the collection efficiency of electrons by the detectors that are in the column. Advantages and disadvantages. A scanning electron microscope is a powerful magnification tool that utilizes focused beams of electrons to obtain information. The high-resolution three-dimensional images produced by scanning electron microscopy provide topographical, morphographical, and compositional information, makes them invaluable in a variety of science and industry applications.
एक्सेलरेट करना है या डीएक्सेलरेट करना है तो कैसे करेंगे?
Topic is atomic force microscope. Atomic force microscopy is very powerful microscope which was invented by IBM scientist Grid Bing in 1982, for which he received Nobel Prize in Physics in 1986. It is very important tool to image and manipulate matter at nanoscale. It is also now as scanning force microscope, and AFM is modification of scanning turning microscope. Construction of microscope. Atomic force microscope. Cantilever. The main component of AFM is cantilever having a sharp tip at the end. Number 2. Tip. A very thin tip of size of order of nanometer is composed of silicon or silicon nitrate and is attached at the end of the cantilever platform. Number 3. The sample under investigation.
सिलिकॉन या सिलिकॉन नाइट्रेट का यूज क्यों करते हैं प्रोब टिप बनाने के लिए?
passed on the platform piezoelectric tube. The platform containing sample is mounted on the piezoelectric tube, which can move sample in XYZ direction. Laser. It has in cantilever deflection measurement. Laser is reflected from the back of cantilever due to deflection in the cantilever, which scanning of the sample. Photodetector. It consists of several photodiode which convert laser light into electric current, which help in image sample surface. This is diagram of atomic force microscope. Principle. Atomic force microscopy was on the principle that a fine sharp tip of order of nanometer attend the cantilever when brought into close to a sample surface. The wonderful force between tip and used from imaging solid surface. In this method, tips is degrade across the sample. Mean tips come in contact with sample surface is force between sample tips and displaced. This mode is used for imaging soft surface like biological surface with sample surface. This tip is kept at the contact height of a few nanometer above the sample surface. Wonderful force between tips and sample surface helping scanning software to contact topographic image of a sample surface. Advantage non-contact and over contact mode. This is there is number degradation of sample or tip which is observed after AFM and over STM. It is to provide 3D image of sample. Number 2, it does not require vacuum. It is high resolution. It can image non-conducting surface like polymer. Disadvantage of AFM. The scanning speed of AFM is less than STM. It can take several minutes of typical scan.
Moore's law refers to Moore's perception that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles every 2 years. Moore's law, the number of transistors in a CPU by head of Intel Gordon Moore's. Intel's first CPU to 2,02,000 transistors. Moore's law सबसे पहले तो ये एक ऑब्जर्वेशन पर बेस्ड है, ये कोई ऐसा पर्टिकुलर फिजिकल लॉ नहीं बोल सकती. इसको सबसे पहले ऑब्जर्व गॉर्डन मूर ने किया, जो कि इंटेल के को फाउंडर हैं, और 1965 में ये हुआ था, जिन्होंने ये प्रेडिक्ट किया था नंबर ऑफ ट्रांजिस्टर कैन बी इंटीग्रेटेड on a single die would grow exponentially with time. जितने भी ट्रांजिस्टर हैं, मतलब जितने भी नंबर ऑफ ट्रांजिस्टर हैं, उन्हें एक सिंगल डाई इंटीग्रेट करेंगे तो बहुत जल्दी बढ़ते जाएंगे, मतलब उसमें एक इंक्रीज आएगा. Moore's law is an observation or projection and not a physical or natural law. Table of content. What is Moore's law? Understanding Moore's law. Background. What is a Moore's law? Moore's law refers to Moore's perception that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles every 2 years. Understanding Moore's law. In 1965, Gordon E. Moore, co-founder of Intel, जो कि Intel के co-founder हैं, Gordon E. Moore, postulated that the number of transistors that can be packed into a given unit of space will double about every 2 years. To every 18 months instead of every 2 years. इसकी एक ग्राफ होती है जो मूर्स लॉ जैसे जैसे ईयर रिलीज इंक्रीज होते जाते हैं, इसमें वैसे ही ट्रांजिस्टर भी बढ़ते जाते हैं मूर्स लॉ में. Moore's law is an observation or projection and not a physical or natural law. Moore's law states that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles about every 2 years. The cost of computer is halved. In 1965, Gordon E. Moore, the co-founder of Intel, made this observation that become Moore's law. Another tenet of Moore's law says that the growth of microprocessor is exponential. इसमें भी ग्राफ दिखाया गया है, जैसे कि इसमें ईयर रिलीज इंक्रीज होते जाते हैं और वैसे ही ट्रांजिस्टर भी इसमें बढ़ते जाते हैं. थैंक यू.
ये बताओ जब पर 2
Science. Nanoscience is the study of structure and material on an ultra small scale. Nanoscience is an emerging area of science which involves the study of materials on an ultra small scale and the novel properties that these materials demonstrate. Nanoscience is cross-disciplinary, meaning scientists from a range of fields including chemistry, physics, biology, medicine, computing, material science and engineering are studying it and using it to better understand our world. Nanotechnology. Nanotechnology, also sometimes called molecular manufacturing, on the other hand, is the design, production and application of structure, devices and systems at the nanoscale. So, essentially on one is studying nanomaterials and their properties and the other is using those materials and properties to create something new or different. Got that? Okay, let's proceed. Why nanotechnology is important? Nanotechnology is designed to provide a novel and improved approach to cancer diagnosis and treatment. Nanoscale devices can intersect with large biological molecules on both the surface and inside cells involved in cancer. Nanoscale science and technology refers to the understanding and controlled manipulation of structure and phenomena that have nanoscale dimensions. Scientists have adopted the Greek word nano as a prefix to mean 1/1000th of a unit of measure. So a nanosecond is 1/1000th of a second. A nanometer nm is 1/1000th of a meter, etc. Over time, man has developed telescope and microscope that add uses seen the world around us to put the nano or micro universe in perspective with our more familiar world. The spacing of atoms in matter is about 1/10 of a nanometer. A strand of DNA is 2 nanometer wide. 1 lakh nanometer is about the diameter of a human hair, which is about as small as a
of gold.
हाँ 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 ठीक है. कब की बात है ये?
सर सन नहीं पता.
1981.
नहीं 14.
Particle size analysis, particle size measurement only. Sorry, sir. Now we discuss determination of particle size. समीर ये आवाज आ रही? Or determination of particle size, or simply particle sizing, is the collective name of the technical procedures or laboratories techniques which determines the size range and or the average or mean size of the particles in a powder or liquid sample. Particle size analysis is a part of particle science and its determination is carried out generally in a particle technology laboratories. The particle size measurement is typically achieved by means of devices called particle size analyzer (PSA), which are based on different technologies such as high definition image processing, analysis of Brownian motion, gravitational settling of the particle and light scattering of the particle. The particle size can have considerable importance in a number of industries, including the chemical, food, mining, forestry, agriculture, nutrition, pharmaceutical, energy, and aggregative industries. Now we discuss about a method, Scherrer equation for determination of particle size. The Scherrer equation in X-ray diffraction is a crystallography, is a formula that relates the size of sub-micrometer crystallites in a solid to broadening of a peak in a diffraction pattern. It is often referred to incorrectly as a formula for particle size measurement or analysis. It is named after Pauli Scherrer. It is used to determine of size of crystals in the form of powder. The Scherrer equation can be written as tau equal to k lambda upon b cos theta, where tau is the mean size of the ordered domains, which may be smaller or equal the grain size, which may be smaller or equal to the particle size, and k is the dimensionless shape factor. With a value close to unity, the shape factor has a typical value of about 0.9, but varies with the actual shape of crystallite. And lambda is equal to X-ray wavelength, and B is the line broadening at half the maximum intensity after subtracting the instrumental line broadening in radians. This quantity is also sometimes denoted as, and theta is the Bragg's angle. Now we discuss about particle size analysis based on discreting. Particle size analysis based on light scattering for determining the particle size, and it is important to state the outside that these methods are not expected to give identical result. The size of a particle depends on the method used for its measurement, and it is important to choose the method for its determination which is relevant to its use. Mining the size of material being processed in an operation where having of the material being conveyed will be damage to equipment and slow down production. Particle size analysis also helps the effectiveness of SHG mills when crushing material. In agriculture, the gradation of soil affects water and nutrient holding and drains capability.